Good evening, everyone. My name is Liz Trantowski. I'm the class of 96, and I'm the president-elect of the Alumni Association Board. This year marks the 40th anniversary of the establishment of the Harvey G. Foster Award. Inaugurated in 1982, the Foster Award is conferred on alumni involved in athletic endeavors who have distinguished themselves through civic or university activities. Our honoree tonight, Rocky Bleier, is well known to the Notre Dame family, not only for his accomplishments on the football field, but also for his remarkable life story. He truly personifies the motto of God, Country, Notre Dame, inscribed on the east door of the Basilica of the Sacred Heart. On campus, Rocky demonstrated leadership as a key member of the 1966 National Championship team, as well as captain in his senior year. He graduated from Notre Dame in 1968 and entered the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Near the end of his rookie season with the Steelers, Rocky was drafted by the United States Army in December 1968 to serve in the Vietnam War. In August 1969, during a mission to search for wounded comrades, his platoon was ambushed. Rocky was shot in his left leg and then severely injured in his right leg by a grenade before being pulled to safety by a fellow soldier. He was awarded the Purple Heart and Bronze Star for his service to our country. During his recovery, Rocky nearly had his leg amputated. Doctors told him he would never play football again. However, Rocky proved them wrong and then some. After a grueling rehabilitation, he re-entered the NFL and returned to the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1971. He played on 4 Super Bowl championship teams with the Steelers over the next 9 years. In addition to his stellar football career, Rocky is an author, public speaker, and star of a one-man play. He is majority owner and managing member of RB Vetco, a full-service disabled veteran general contractor. For years, Rocky has championed numerous veterans-related causes, notably the National Veterans Foundation, Operation Strong Vet, and the National Veteran-Owned Business Association. On behalf of the Alumni Association, it is my honor to welcome and present to you this year's Harvey G. Foster Award winner, Rocky Bleier.
Liz, thank you very much. Indeed, it's a pleasure to be here. Brian, really an honor to be able to share this evening with you and your whole gang from 85. That's the important thing. And to all of those who have supported the Alumni Foundation, and so thank you for your time and effort that you've put in. And I enjoy being here. Now, one of the things is that they told me I have 10 minutes to speak. Now, you have to understand that's very difficult for me. If you want an hour, hour and a half, that's no problem. I can give you that off my cuff. But 10 minutes is difficult. So I had to write some notes, and that's what I'm pulling out right at this time to be able to condense that. As I was sitting down there thinking about what I was going to talk about, what popped in my mind, how many Chicago Bear fans are there here? I mean, I'm sure are there some? You can raise your hands. I don't care. You know, yeah, you are. Okay. So, and it just reminds me, Brian reminded me, is that just remember this. You always have 85. So anyway, kind of runs in together, right? It's just over there. And maybe I do need my glasses. No, I don't at all. As I said, as I'd fallen Brian's shoes, is that, you know, I am really honored and humbled, in all honesty, being able to receive the Foster Award for, as they say, public service for here within the government or the university. And it's just an honor to be associated with those who have preceded me. And you have a list of those who have won the awards in the past for both Brian and I. And in looking at that list, it's really so impressive of those people who had been on the list. Some of them are friends, some of them are teammates that I've played with that have preceded me. Then I think this. I'm 76 years old. How did Brady Quinn get this award before I did? I mean, you look at him, he still looks like he's 15. You know, I mean, it's so. But I digress there, and I apologize. I'm humbled, and I tell you this, as I've done, from my perspective, actually nothing to accept, I thought, to live up to what I have been taught, as we all have been taught, not only here at the university, but throughout my life, and that is just trying to be a good Catholic boy, and simply just to give back. Now, my public service is rather well known, as we were talking about it before, but in 1968, and I'm going to have to take you back, some of you weren't around then, but 1968, I wasn't really looking for a job, okay? I mean, I had a job that I liked, playing for the Steelers. I made the team, and that was important. I was making over $1,300 a month. Now they make 10 times that in a minute. I was single, playing ball, and life was good. I wasn't looking for another job, okay? I wasn't recruited. I wasn't even invited. I was commanded to appear for government service. It worked out okay. I mean, I'm still here, and so that became the important thing, to be able to tell the tale. But then there are 58,000 names on a wall that didn't make it. All of a sudden, I was in a position to tell their stories and advocate for veterans' rights and make aware of the issues that they face. Now, along the way, like all of us, my life has been touched by many people that have made a difference in my life. From Notre Dame nuns, when I was in grade school, with rulers, to Christian brothers with knuckle busters to the arm, with a coach that stared, a sergeant with his growl, to a quiet conversation with a Holy Cross priest who happened to be a rector when life's questions just became too overwhelming and the tale becomes too large. And speaking of, well, telling tales, once again, I want you to look at my table, the Great 68. That table, if you think about it, for me at least, is a time machine. I mean, when I get back over there, you'll notice, watch, my mustache will get darkened, my hair will come back, I'll only limp on Mondays. It's 1966, and the only thing we can or have to worry about is the game against Michigan State. But life goes on. And as I said, it's the little things that each of us have at the table, the cards and what it says. Remember that no man is an island. I mean, we didn't get to where we are today by ourselves. We got here because of someone. And thus it becomes our responsibility to be that someone to someone else. I'm here because of that table right there, and in all honesty, as I was thinking about what I was going to talk about. My friends. Tom Weir, who let me live in his basement for 3 years when I came back from Vietnam, as he was trying to make me an insurance agent. Not only has he taught me perseverance by being the 1968 class president for life, but he is my go-to guy when I need a quick one-liner to spice up a speech. Chris Murphy, sitting right next to him, who ran for every student office from freshman year all the way through to senior, becoming the student body president. A Virginia lawyer, a Harvard MBA, got into the banking business. Now he owns the bank. And that taught me the importance of compound interest. Gene Kavanaugh, sitting right next to him, a Johnstown, Pennsylvania native, who ended up running the bank, thank God, a Vietnam veteran who taught me that it pays to be nice. Now, Gene is the nicest guy that you ever want to meet or ever want to have in your family. He's too nice, and it really starts to piss us off. So, but he's here. Ed Wilbraham, the lawyer, who taught me about generosity. Several years ago, we had a reunion, and Ed kept bidding against himself for a piece of collector's item. And so he got it. As I was up trying to sell it, and he kept raising his hand. He could have gotten it for like $1,500, but no, he paid $10,000 for it, so I want to thank him for us. And so what he taught me was about generosity and the importance. The heralded doctors of the class of 1968, Steve Anderson and Fred Furlick, who taught me how to stay healthy by departing wisdom, direction, medical advice, whether you wanted to hear it or not. Skip Strzelecki of St. Andrew's Products, who captured the Notre Dame and other markets and customized apparel. He taught me style and what logos are all about. And Dan Harshman, my roommate, who taught me the most about giving back in running South Bend's Logan Center for 35 years. A committed person. And thank you. You have to understand, I mean, really, in all honesty, though they're my classmates, they're my heroes. And I mean that in all honesty. And the only reason that they showed up was because it was a free dinner. So that was it. I got to say. But that culture of belief, you know, that someone, something can make a difference. You know, as I talked about earlier, just that people can make a difference in our lives. And the one thing that we have is a belief system that little kernel of belief that we can achieve something along the way. And it really has to start somewhere. People touch our lives as we move on. Friends that I graduate with that become an important part of my life. But it has to start somewhere. And mine, and I've shared this story with, unfortunately, these guys. Mine started with the greatest football game I ever played in. I was 9 years old. I was playing Dickie Weisgerber, my next-door neighbor. Now, being born and raised in a small Midwestern town, Appleton, Wisconsin, I mean, for us cheeseheads, I mean, football was a big part of our lives. And Dick and I had an extensive schedule. I mean, we had home and away games. And the first game of that season was an away game for me, so of course I had to go across the street and pick up Dickie and play in his side lawn. But let me tell you, what a game. I mean, what a game. I scored 51 touchdowns that afternoon. More importantly, I shut them out. I mean, think about that. That is 357 to nothing. I mean, it was a game of skill and will and God, and I knew Dickie's weakness. Now, just because the fact Dickie was 5, I mean, shouldn't take anything away from my personal achievement. I mean, you didn't know Dickie, he was a tough kid. But from that moment on, and I have to tell you, all the way through high school, I never lost a football game. And because of that one game, and because of a spark, it got me here to Notre Dame, to be an alumnus, to share the experience, God, country, and Notre Dame, but more importantly, to have lifelong friends that make a difference. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening. It's a pleasure being with you. You can sit down. I'm waiting for the picture, so that's it. So don't think I'm wanting more, but.
Thank you to our awardees tonight. That was just wonderful when you think about a life of public service, when you think about what this university really is all about. It was just wonderful to share your life story with us. We're honored to be here with you tonight, and once again, just thank you. At this time, I'd like to welcome Frank Byrne to do our benediction.
Frank Byrne, class of 1974, and I just want to say, if you weren't inspired by our awardees tonight, if you didn't have goosebumps, as Rocky mentioned, there are some physicians in the room. Please call them over. They'll check and see if you have a heart and if it's working. There's another group I think we should acknowledge tonight who's here, who rarely gets to be with us on campus, our past presidents of the Alumni Association. Could you raise your hand so that we can just acknowledge you? So as my wife would say, I do better with the script, so I had this benediction for tonight, which I got from a group of nurses and nuns recently at their celebration of their nursing school 100th anniversary at St. Mary's Hospital in Madison, Wisconsin. It's a Franciscan benediction. May God bless us with this comfort at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that we may live from deep within our hearts. May God bless us with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of God's creations, so that we may work for justice, freedom, and peace. May God bless us with tears to shed for those who suffer pain, rejection, hunger, and war, so that we may reach out our hands to comfort them and to turn their pain into joy. And may God bless us with just enough foolishness to believe that we can make a difference in the world, so that we can do what others claim cannot be done, to bring justice and kindness to all our children and all our neighbors who are poor. Now let's go out and be a force for good in the world. Amen.
Thank you all for being a force for good in the world. Coffee and dessert are served over this way. Thank you.